I have some good news to start the day. This article from Forbes is examining why more Black families are choosing to homeschool their children. My family happens to be one of those families. The US Census data indicates that since COVID-19 pandemic, more families are choosing to homeschool their kids. According to 2020 US Census data, the rate of white homeschool children increased from 5.7 to 9.7 in the fall of 2020. For Asian children, homeschooling rates increased from 4.9% to 8.8 during this same time frame. And although there was an increase in homeschooling rates among American children in general, the most dramatic increase was seen with Black families. The data reveals that the number of Black children that were homeschooled rose from 3.3% in the spring of 2020 to 16% in the fall of 2020. Amazing. There could be a number of reasons why Black families are opting to homeschool their children. Implicit biases within the within education contribute to these issues like adultification and the school to prison pipeline. And then add to the worry is the push for some U.S. lawmakers to ban the teaching of Black history. Yes, definitely. Many Black parents are taking their children's education into their own hands. Pamela Smith is one of those people. Smith is a mother of five who has homeschooled her kids for the last 14 years. Smith sat down to discuss some of her experiences. I'm not going to read this whole interview. You guys can look up the interview, but I'm going to hit some of her points. So Asir, the author of this article, asked if Miss Smith had any of their kids in public schools. And so this is Miss Smith's answer. She says she has five kids. They are all homeschooled. Her oldest is the only one who has gone to public school. And then her second oldest went to a private Christian school. The reason that we decided to pull them was because in Florida, we were living in Florida at the time. They had what they called an FCAT. And my daughter, despite studying and working hard for the entire year, was told that there was a possibility that she was going to have to repeat the third grade. Even though they didn't have the test results back, they were basing it on a test. So basically, she wanted to make sure her kids were staying ahead or on track. She said the other reason why she took her kids out of public school and put her in private school was the microaggressions and racism. So I'm sure Black mothers can attest to this. She says, my daughter, who is now 27 at the time, was coming to me and she was wanting to straighten her kinky hair and was being bullied and teased by some of the boys because of her kinky hair. And right then I said, I cannot have her in an environment where she's not seeing herself reflected amongst her peers. Okay, so the mom, Mrs. Smith, spoke about why she pulled her kids initially, the microaggressions and the fact that, they were teaching their children to take a test. And I'm sure most of us can attest to that. So now let's get into the reasons why some parents might not do it. Okay, so this is what the mom says. Homeschooling parents are facilitators over their children's learning. A lot of times, what stops parents from wanting to attempt to homeschool is because they think they need to be teachers or certified teachers, or that they have to have expertise in every subject. You do not. There's tons of online help and different resources. Okay, by being a facilitator, that means that I can find the right people. I can choose who teaches my child math. So, for example, my kids are in online programs for math. In the past, when I first started, I would hire a tutor and come in and do STEM experiments with my children. I've taken them to tutoring centers. I have facilitated some of their learning over the years. So, you just have to find connections, and there are tons of resources online that help homeschooling parents. This is a big one. Um, this is what the interviewer says. A common misconception with homeschooling kids is that they will be socially awkward and they won't be socialized. I get this a lot as a homeschool mom. And this is absolutely not how it goes. If you put your kids in activities and connect them and you are a social person, you will have socialized kids. My kids are perfectly socialized. And like this mom says towards the bottom, when you go to school, teachers are telling your kids to be quiet anyway, that this is not the place for socialization. They make them walk in. I mean, I don't know for sure because my kids have never been in public schools, but I have been in schools, and it's not like you have very much time to socialize during class or anything. Also, let's talk about critical race theory and all of this brouhaha going on in the news. The mom says this whole thing with critical race theory has really, really opened a lot of parents' eyes and made me more grateful for being a homeschooling parent. Absolutely. Because I read on my own, and it has given me personally the opportunity to see the BS that is taught in school and that centers the paler complected people through manifest destiny and makes them the hero of all of the stories. Moms like me and moms like Mrs. Smith can cultivate the knowledge that we give to our children as far as history goes. So this mom continues, we can choose the curriculum. You have to be careful with homeschool curriculum as well. You have to look at the author because some curriculum can be more whitewashed than school curriculum. We have the opportunity as homeschooling parents to teach our children true American history without being censored. I love this. Like, comment, share.